This has to be the craziest story I have ever heard. How does this keep getting worse?
Round 1, fight!
Someone is lying, and we need to find out who it is. Today, we are diving into the story that has everyone talking. The drama between two TikTok influencers, Clementine and Bambi Belle. What started as the unexplained end of a long friendship has spiraled into accusations, misunderstandings, and just recently, a shocking twist that left so many people speechless. This isn't just any internet drama. You don't have to even know these people to enjoy this video, because I promise you, you will not guess where this story ends up. The year is 2021 and our story starts in Australia. COVID was at its peak, and with nothing else to do, most people took their boredom to TikTok. A small group of friends began gaining popularity when they started posting on TikTok as an online group. Their names are AJ, Bambi, Grace, and Evie. They came together through their shared experiences of being trans women, which is what they mainly centered their content around. The main characters in the story are AJ, Bambi, and Grace. Evie pretty much disappeared from social media, which I guess is very lucky since she got to escape this crazy situation. This story has so many twists and turns and is just a reminder of how easily the truth can get complicated. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's break down every layer of this drama. I am not ready for this. I wanted to start this off with a disclaimer. Just because a trans person does something wrong doesn't give you the right to be transphobic. Ever, okay? Got it? Good. Now, this isn't just some recent petty drama. This actually started well over a year ago. We start with Bambi and Grace, who had a 9-year-long friendship, so that meant that AJ was the newcomer of the group. After about a year of posting online, people started to notice that Bambi and Grace stopped interacting with each other, with their last post together being at the end of 2021. People started to speculate about what happened between them, but neither of them publicly commented on it. Until June of 2022, when Grace uploads this video.
My ex-best friend is trying to ruin my life and is low-key turning into my stalker. This girl is a fucking mastermind. We were mutual friends with another girl, and me and that girl started to hit it off. But then she orchestrated this whole divide and conquer thing where she would say that the other girl said shit about me, so then I would get angry and say shit about her, so then she would tell her that I was saying shit about her, and then we ended up fucking hating each other.
So the other girl that she keeps mentioning is AJ, and what she is essentially saying is that Bambi was starting to get jealous of AJ and Grace's new friendship. But she's saying all of this with no evidence to back her claims, and it just kind of seems like petty friendship drama. But then she goes and says this.
The lines in my friendship with her started to blur, and we would kiss and make out. It started as like innocent fun and then got to a little bit more. But I didn't want to do it anymore, and instead of outright telling her that I didn't want to do it, I would just try my best efforts to avoid it. But she waited until I was drunk, like very, very, very drunk, to make out with me, on top of me. It was all consensual, of course, and I was flirting with her before she even did it. But I was very, very drunk.
Now, this is an incredibly complicated situation. The lines of consent can easily become blurry, and it's important to remember that anyone can withdraw consent at any time. She says that she consented to this being the dynamic of their relationship. However, she doesn't mention if Bambi was also drinking or how obvious the hints that she was giving were. These are very serious accusations with very fine lines, so if someone's gonna make an accusation like this, it is crucial to provide all the details. But if Bambi really did this, then she is a vile human being and she needs to be taken off social media.
I was considering being her friend again, but the shit that she fucking did to me after that, she made videos about me, spread lies about me. I found out that allegedly she SA'd the other girl, and I believe her because this girl hated me but reached out to me for help. This girl was very, very drunk, passing out, and then this decides to full make out with her in the bed.
Wow, yeah, another huge accusation, but this time it's not her story, it's AJ's. So allegedly, AJ has a very similar story about her experience with Bambi, and she chose to confide in Grace even though they weren't really good friends at the time. It seems that from this rekindling with AJ, Grace found out more allegations against Bambi. She continued by saying that she allegedly found out that Bambi had minors' nudes on her phone, which she used to blackmail those said minors. Again, all of these allegations are said with zero evidence and are spoken from a third party. But don't get me wrong, just because something is said without evidence doesn't mean it's not true. I know it's incredibly hard to get evidence of these types of situations. This accusation about minors' nudes was never actually brought up after this video. There were no sources to back her claims and no victims ever came out. And also, if this is a real accusation, then why on earth are you taking it to TikTok and not taking it to the police? Especially if there's minors involved. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But back to the other accusations, so Grace airs out that AJ was also an alleged victim of Bambi, which came as a huge shock to people because Bambi and AJ were known to post videos that heavily alluded to the fact that they were more than friends. And no, that doesn't mean a friend can't assault another friend. I'm just pointing out how it could be a surprise to people because I can't even tell you the amount of videos they have posted of this dynamic. And of course, there's a chance that these videos are just for views and attention and doesn't actually describe the dynamic of their relationship, but remember these videos because I will come back to them in a second. For a while, AJ was pretty much silent about this whole situation until she started posting on her stories, answering questions about why her and her ex-bestie aren't friends anymore. She says, "Many things happened, but the main reason is she didn't respect my boundaries." She then goes on to post another story where she says that if you see any posts of her on Bambi's socials, then to know that it's not consensual, and that consent is something that they've chosen to ignore in multiple instances. This whole situation brought AJ and Grace really close together, and they started posting online about how Bambi is the villain, and they made it very known. They would reply to each other's comments saying things like, "I just want her to leave us alone. Me too." Someone asked, "Are you still friends with Evie? She's done some pretty awful things to people I know." Grace replies saying, "No, but I think that's more because Bambi has twisted everything. Evie is young and impressionable, but Bambi is a master manipulator." For context of this story, it's important to know that AJ has been in a couple of public online relationships. Around the time of these allegations, she was in a relationship with a guy called Ryan who she centered a lot of her content around. But she's now in a new relationship for reasons that are so crazy, I need to discuss them later. Anyway, remember those suggestive videos that Bambi and AJ would post together? Yeah, she was in a relationship with Ryan through all of them, and this was public knowledge. Ryan also jumped on this train and commented saying, "And keep her hands to herself," which I'm assuming he's talking about the allegation of Bambi assaulting AJ. With everything said so far, everyone that knew these people were on AJ and Grace's side. They would constantly make vague videos which were obviously about Bambi, which sent mass hate to her account, and this went on for over 2 years. Meanwhile, AJ was getting more and more popular on social media. In June of this year, AJ posted that she had broken up with her long-term boyfriend Ryan, which came as a huge surprise to people considering that they just moved to the UK together. And only a few months after that, she started posting about how she's in a new relationship. Her new boyfriend is also a popular social media creator and dating coach named Jacob. They've been consistently posting about how amazing their new relationship is and how happy they are. It seemed that things were only getting better for AJ. That was until people started to ask questions. Questions like how she was able to move on so fast from such a long-term relationship. Being chronically online, AJ thought that the best way to get people to stop talking was to overshare in a TikTok about the reason why her last relationship ended. In the TikTok, she said, "Me thinking about how I moved countries, went no contact with my Filipino mum, and stayed with him even though he cheated. First, Bambi assaults her, and then her ex cheats on her. Damn, this girl really can't catch a break." But then, something unexpected happens. Something that triggered a catastrophic chain of events. Her ex-boyfriend Ryan dropped a post calling her out for lying and said that she was the one who cheated on him. In the post, he said, says, why? To those who are concerned, an ex of mine who I made content with in the past recently posted a TikTok claiming I cheated. This is not just a lie, but deeply traumatic to me, as towards the end of that relationship, I went through an incredibly difficult time mentally. And her response was to start seeking a new partner before ending things via a TikTok post. Sorry, a TikTok post? That's insane. It appears this partner is not willing to let me go and is still actively attempting to cause conflict both online and offline. All I want is to move on and allow the past to remain in the past, good and bad. Yikes, that is not a good look at all. Now that the heat was turned onto AJ, this opened up the floodgates for Bambi to drop this video. A few weeks ago, Bambi posts this cryptic TikTok where she says, I stayed silent to protect your reputation whilst you tried to destroy mine, but now the truth about you is coming out and I didn't even have to say a word. Most people in the comments immediately assumed that it was about AJ, and Bambi confirmed this by liking and replying to comments. It's safe to say that people weren't on Bambi's side, and I think this comment pretty much sums up what people were feeling. Hi, AJ might be a bad person, but you also have multiple SA allegations thrown your way. Bambi replies by saying, give me a chance to speak my truth and I know you'll feel differently when I do. I just wasn't strong enough to face it all. It was too overwhelming. I hope you'll hear me now. A couple of days go by and nothing really happens, but then she posts this video.
The truth about my ex-best friend is finally starting to come out. I never spoke publicly about what happened between us because I was scared into silence. Has a pattern of misleading her millions of followers and others around her by presenting herself as the victim, which often garners sympathy. And over time, this has become a significant part of her personality and online image.
So in this 1-minute video, she basically touches the surface of this situation. Bambi goes on to say about how AJ is a liar and brings up Ryan's post regarding AJ lying and cheating on him, allegedly. She doesn't go into any of her own personal experiences, but at the end, she goes on to say this.
There's so much more to this story and so much more I want to address.
I'm gonna be honest, the way that she used Ryan's post as an opportunity to speak her side is incredibly smart. She knew that the public was against her, and by platforming Ryan's statement, she makes people question whether AJ is actually this nice person that they think she is. But people still weren't on her side. So Bambi decided that the best way to speak her truth was to post a multiple-part storytime series on her TikTok. This is the first one.
This is going to be one of the most important and probably scariest videos I've ever made, but I know that it's necessary to speak up because the truth matters. To start, I want to make it absolutely clear that I did not assault my ex-best friend or anyone else. I have never, and I would never. I always looked out for her, protected her, and loved her like a sister. The idea that I could harm her in such a way is beyond painful.
She straight up denies the allegations AJ made against her, and this is the first time that she's ever spoken about it publicly. She goes on to say that as a victim of sexual assault herself, she would never do that to another, let alone someone that she really cares about. If they are false allegations, like Bambi is claiming, then they can have very damaging effects to real victims. When allegations come out to be false, even though it's rare, it can create an atmosphere of skepticism and often overshadow real victims. But if these allegations are true, then Bambi is an evil person and shouldn't have a platform.
She also reached out and befriended a relationship from my past, encouraging and influencing this person to come forward with allegations against me in an effort to build a case against me, by turning it into two voices against one. The way she aligned the two false stories felt like a deliberate attempt to undermine my voice and make it harder for me to defend myself.
The other person she's referring to is Grace, who also made the similar accusation against her. Bambi is basically saying that she thinks AJ manipulated and encouraged Grace to speak out so that it would be an uneven playing field, making it 2 against 1.
And out of nowhere, I received a message from her with these wild allegations of assault. It was the first time I had heard of it, and it honestly blindsided me. Why would she create such a sinister story?
So she says that she was blindsided by these allegations and has no idea where this narrative came from. We heard in Grace's story that AJ confided in her after what Bambi allegedly did. I'm gonna speak from devil's advocate here. I think what Bambi is trying to say that there is a possibility, since her and Grace weren't friends anymore, that after AJ came to her with her story, she would then look at her own experiences from AJ's point of view. They're basically the same story, but Grace says that it was all consensual, but then says it was also sexual assault at the same time. It kind of sounds like maybe she didn't want to straight up accuse her of this, maybe because she was scared, maybe because she didn't know what people would think. It sounds like that's where Bambi's trying to come from, so it's either that, possibly, we don't know, or Bambi is just a supervillain manipulating everyone. Let's see how this story unfolds.
I want to take a moment to address a narrative that's been circulating about me, that I am a mean girl and use triangulation tactics to pit my ex-best friend and another creator, Grace, against each other.
That screenshot that Bambi shows was from one of AJ's recently deleted videos. So AJ claims that Bambi tried to stop Grace and her from being friends. And let's keep in mind that AJ and Grace are now best friends since this drama started. Let's continue.
First, let me clarify, Grace did not hate my ex-best friend. The negativity was one-sided. A lot of tension between them seemed to come from my ex-best friend feeling like Grace was copying her content.
Can you just tell me why? Why the fuck has she hashtag Princess Core? Like, since when? She really thinks that because I hashtag that is why my fucking videos do well? Babes, she should have hashtag thing 1, thing 2, because with that top and her facial expressions, that's what she was giving. And like her hand move, everything about it is just like, it's just a mess. I literally just can't wait to get my American visa so I don't have to ever think about Grace and her stealing my content ever again, because I just, at that point, I'll just unfollow her and block her and she just can't take anything else from me ever again.
Wow, okay, so throughout this whole drama, this is the first bit of actual proof that we get. Okay, but this definitely doesn't look good for AJ. I'm sensing a lot of jealousy on AJ's side, and that could be because of Bambi and Grace's 9-year-long friendship. Perhaps she just wanted Bambi for herself. But aside from that, immediately I just think about how awkward this is gonna be for AJ and Grace to see this, especially Grace, and it's just making me cringe. And it just gets worse from here.
Here she is telling me that she thinks that Grace was also copying her photos at the beach with the same pose and the same setup. Here is another text from her. Can we talk about how she literally did the exact same video as me? She needs to stop copying my vids or there will be one less me in the world.
Bambi goes on to say that through this time she tried to encourage peace between them, but something that rubs me the wrong way is, why did AJ feel like she could say these things to you? I mean, if some new friend said one nasty thing about my best friend, I would have shut that down immediately. Why would I want to hear that? But also, I don't think anyone would ever feel like they could say something like that to me about my best friend. To feel like you can insult someone's best friend, it must feel like it's a safe space to do so. It makes me wonder why most of her replies are cut out.
Throughout this time, I did my best to encourage peace, even encouraged Grace to message my ex-best friend on the anniversary of her surgery. You can see Grace's message to her, and then she said, she saw Bambi's story, why would she say that? Why is she acting like she doesn't watch my stories or TikToks? I'm sorry, but why did she even message me like that? It just seems like she's trying to do it to say she did it with no intention actually messaging me. She was already going to message you either way. I just gave my opinion and told her I think it would be a good idea. Right, well, her message is weird. Blocks. Despite my efforts to bring them together, my ex-best friend's feelings towards Grace remained intense.
She doesn't really seem like she's on either side of the drama. She seems like she just wants to solve it. It's like they're having two completely different conversations. I don't know what she's so angry about and why she doesn't want to make up with Grace, even though Grace was clearly trying. It just kind of seems like jealousy to me.
Whenever I would make content that was similar to hers, she would give me this nickname.
Don't make me stop calling you Little Miss Grace Highland if you're going to be like this, because I will do it. And that will be a little nickname for the rest of your life. It's the fact that you're turning it into content just because mine did stunning. It's literally just copied and paste, like literally still taking my idea. Thanks, Gracie, Grace Highland.
Again, even to Bambi, she just seems like a very bitter and jealous person. She ends the video by saying that she never tried to turn anyone against anyone, and if anything, she tried to mend the friendship. Which, I mean, yeah, she does have the evidence that makes sense.
Some would say that I even acted as a mediator, trying to keep the group together. But that sometimes left me with more responsibility than I could handle, and I ended up taking the blame for things things that I did not do. We were a part of a group of 4 girls, and I am still very close with one of them, and she plans to come forward soon to talk a bit more about the dynamics that we experienced, including who was really engaging in these so-called triangulation tactics.
Oh my gosh, she is mentioning Evie, who was the 4th member that disappeared off the face of the earth. So it sounds like Evie has her own story. That was the end of the second video, and what I can't wrap my head around was how vocal Grace was in saying that AJ came to her after what happened with Bambi. Why would she go to her when just a few months ago she was acting like Grace's #1 hater? That kind of dramatic reversal in behavior seems so questionable to me.
I just want to address a few quick things. My ex-best friend is continuing to push this victim narrative, and I'm going to be setting the record straight. She just posted a video, and her caption claims that she's removed all content involving me. But if you head over to her page, there's plenty of videos still featuring me in them, plus many more than in this screenshot.
All these videos that she's mentioning have now been deleted, so it's pretty obvious that AJ knew she messed up by having these posts still on her account, otherwise she just wouldn't have deleted them.
She's telling people that she thought she'd never have to bring this up, and that I won't leave her alone. This has been one of her favorite narratives to say from day one, but let's not forget the truth. Since I ended our friendship, she has been consistently attacking me. She has made multiple videos about me, garnered over 15 million views, not to mention all of the comments, rants about me on her Snapchat, privately messaging all of our mutual friends. She's literally called people on the phone to spread these crazy stories about me, and has encouraged anyone who will listen to her to turn against me.
I definitely agree with Bambi on this one. You cannot be acting like the victim on the internet, saying that someone won't leave you alone when it's you who won't leave them alone online and offline. She pokes the bear for years, but then acts blindsided when Bambi finally decides to speak up for herself. I see a lot of comments about people saying that this should have been handled offline, and whilst I completely agree with that, I think after Bambi having her name and her reputation dragged through the mud for years, she has every right to defend herself publicly. It had been a week since Bambi posted these original videos, and it seemed that AJ just wasn't gonna make a response. Until now.
I never wanted to make this video, but my ex-best friend has left me no choice. I called her last night after 2 years of no contact, and this is the text that she sent me after the call. She has admitted that she has caused harm, has hurt me. This is not the actions of someone who has claimed they have not done anything wrong.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, I am so confused. So it seems like they decided to take it offline and have a phone call, and Bambi's text seems like a sincere apology for something. It doesn't say exactly what she was apologizing for, maybe for being a bad friend, maybe for the allegations, we don't know.
Denies all allegations, but this is proof that she acknowledges that what she did is wrong. I also just want to put it out there that I did not want any of this to be public.
Yeah, I totally believe that you didn't want this public. Totally.
Essay is a very serious topic, and for her to try and defend herself by saying she has a line of people waiting is just disgusting and insensitive. This is proof that this person cannot be trusted and has acknowledged that they've done something wrong.
Yeah, okay, wow, this message is really strange. What a weird way to try and clear yourself of an allegation by saying that you have a line of people waiting for you. Not like that even matters anyway. A lot of the time, sexual assault is based on power and control. Having an option of people doesn't have anything to do with that. So up to this point, Bambi hasn't really said much about the allegations, and it's clear that AJ really wanted to bring these back to light again in her video. After this, a lot of people went back onto AJ's side, and it just seemed like a very he said she said scenario, until this next video when the truth really started to show.
Yes, to my surprise, after nearly 2 years, my ex-best friend called me. So let's have a listen.
Guys, she recorded the phone call. The phone call that AJ was talking about in her video where she painted Bambi to still be this villain. Bambi recorded it. So immediately I assume that we're gonna hear a lot of apologizing from Bambi's end. That seems pretty obvious from what AJ said. We have to listen to this together.
What I've done, I'm not proud of, and I do apologize for making all the content that I did. I'm at fault for it, and I will do anything to remove anything you want me to do. You can send every single thing that you want me to remove, delete, and I'll do it. It doesn't look good on my end. I get it. I have made TikToks, and I'm constantly the victim in these situations.
I was tormented by you guys, AJ.
Honestly, wholeheartedly, I apologize for all of that. And it's so cruel. I'm not proud of it. That's why I'm literally, as we're talking, as you mentioned, the videos, I'm deleting them. It's not okay. And I apologize for making them. I wasn't thinking about you in this situation. I convinced myself like she deserves it. After all the years of friendship, after all the things I helped her with her transition, like I was like, I don't owe her anything. I didn't feel any sympathy. And that sounds so like heartless.
Yeah, that does sound incredibly heartless. This whole confession is just so strange. It almost sounds like it's AI. I don't think that she ever expected this to come out.
It's probably my karma to like have all this come out too, because I didn't do anything. I didn't stop it. I just let it happen. I let it unfold. But it was like Ryan and Grace who were really going on. I shouldn't have encouraged it, like, because it's, you know, that's just bullying. What I've done in the past, and I've done that to other people, and it's like stupid. It also was like doing it as like a cry for help, and I shouldn't have done it to you. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, she deserves it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't have any role in Grace making her content. It was stupid. Like, we both were bonding over the fact that we weren't friends with you anymore.
Okay, so she's basically still playing the victim in a way by putting all the blame onto Grace and her ex. Like, she's apologizing, but not in a way. She claims to have had very little involvement, but I can't help but think that this would be a very different story if Grace and Ryan were there to defend themselves. And damn, throwing your new bestie under the bus like that is just wild.
Afterwards, we talked about how we would move forward, making public statements together.
I want to find like another way to deal with this.
What do you propose we do? Like, what do we do?
We just literally say that like it's just petty drama, and we just follow each other again, and tell people that like it's just blown out of proportion, and that like, you know, I'm not proud of like the content that I've made. Like, I have no reason to just continue this narrative. It's petty, and that we've resolved this stuff like offline.
That's just crazy. AJ had no issue posting about Bambi for 2 years, but as soon as it turns onto her, she now wants to handle it offline. I'm just lost for words right now. She goes on to say that they both sent each other apology messages, which AJ conveniently decided to not include that in her post.
The next day, I followed up with her about our statements that we discussed, expressing how important it was that she retracts the lies she spread about me. If she truly meant her apology, it needed to be reflected in her actions. Without that, I knew I couldn't move forward. And then my heart shattered. She texted me back, accusing me of blackmailing and intimidating her.
Okay, we need to read this. Bambi, I'm disappointed to read this text. You agreed to stop making these posts. Also, I didn't make any false accusations. Blah, 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 blah. I don't appreciate being threatened and told what to do by you, as what you are doing is blackmail and intimidation, which is a criminal offense. This has upset me. Don't contact me again. Wow, okay, so this is getting serious. Obviously, AJ isn't happy with Bambi's text and still stands by these allegations against her. And I mean, I agree, if AJ thinks that these allegations are true, then she should stand by them. Bambi then says that AJ went and blocked her on everything, and that's when she posted her last video.
And posted yet another video, continuing the same lies and narratives that she just apologized for. I even removed all the videos I had just made about her at her request. Can't believe I fell for her lies and manipulation once again, after I promised myself I never would. For a moment, I really thought she was sorry and wanted to do the right thing.
This is just all so confusing. Bambi then posts a part 2, and from what I have heard, we need to strap in for this one.
I finally have the evidence to clear my name from these insane allegations that I assaulted my ex-best friend. I've never needed you to listen to something more than I need you to hear this. So please watch until the end.
The way my jaw just dropped? What do you mean she has the evidence to clear herself? Also, this video has 6.2 million views. That's insane. Let's hear what she has to say.
These allegations all stem from a night where my ex-best friend and I shared a kiss. It wasn't uncommon for us, and it was always lighthearted and platonic.
Just to back this up, remember we saw this dynamic hundreds of times in TikToks over the years. Let's continue.
Things seemingly changed when she told me that her boyfriend, who was once okay with it, had become uncomfortable. So she fabricated this story that she was completely drunk and didn't know what she was doing, which supposedly led him to believe that I assaulted her. And she actively let that lie grow bigger and bigger. Now please listen to the phone call we had from 2 nights ago, where she admits to this. You're still saying I assaulted you, and I just, is that something you actually feel?
It became this whole big thing where it's like, I never actually said that it was essay. Ryan kept bringing up like it crossed the line of cheating to essay, like all this type of stuff like that. everything in my mind just warped the situation to be something different.
I cannot believe what I just heard. There is no way she just confessed to that. I need a second to just breathe and think. Oh my gosh. So according to AJ, it was Ryan who claimed that it was sexual assault and he convinced her. It sounds to me like Ryan didn't really like AJ and Bambi's friendship dynamic and considered it cheating. Then maybe AJ fought this and said, oh no, it's not cheating, and that led Ryan to think, okay, well if it's not cheating, it's sexual assault. And AJ just went with this because otherwise her boyfriend would consider it cheating. This is just completely messed up.
Because I now only saw it from the one lens. I know it's so dangerous. Ryan was the one saying she's a predator, she essayed. He was trying to make a villain out of you to like sidetrack the way that like he was feeling about our relationship because he knew that I was like slipping away. And I did plant the seeds. I planted the seed in his mind. I planted the seed in Grace's mind. I do admit and I do apologize that I was liking comments. It was Grace and Ryan that were like spreading that stuff around. I've grown from it. I look at things differently and I was like in a really bad place, not an excuse any of my fucking behavior. I never sat there and was like, my best friend Bambi essayed me and I never was gonna fucking do that.
So you let someone else do it for you. That is just such a argument. All this is saying is that AJ is just a master manipulator and used Ryan and Grace as puppets to do her dirty work. And then when the blame turned on her, she just threw them under the bus.
She says on that call that her boyfriend warped her memory, painting me as an assaulter, along with another creator named Grace. It was my ex-best friend who planted those seeds in both of their minds. She claims that she never felt this way about me, yet stood by and encouraged them to spread this horrific narrative, watching as I was branded as an assaulter. But I still believe her role was far greater than she's admitted to. When I stand up and say that I did not assault anyone, I am telling the truth. I never deserved to be torn apart based on a lie. I have been tortured by this and by these people for far too long. AJ, you have been caught in your web of lies, and now everyone knows the truth.
I did not expect that at all. The fact that she knew all along that it wasn't sexual assault, but allowed and even encouraged this narrative to be spread is just pure evil. This whole situation is just so sad. False allegations are rare, but can be so incredibly damaging. Not only to the person's life who you're ruining, but it can also significantly damage the credibility of real victims. Many survivors already struggle with belief, fear of victim blaming, skepticism from others. Bambi has recently posted a follow-up video where she addresses the comment that she made about having a line of people waiting for her.
I want to address a comment that I made on here that was not fully educated. I mentioned that it was insulting to say that if I wanted intimacy, that I would need to essay someone, as I'm a young woman who has many people that I can be intimate with consensually. I know now that my comment was not fully educated at all. Not all essay or SB cases are linked to desires or wanting to force intimacy with someone who doesn't want to be intimate with you. That it can also be linked to power, dominance, and aggression.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I said before about how it can be a power thing for a lot of perpetrators. So at least she's acknowledging that and taking back what she said.
So thank you for educating me fully. I do think it's unfair to say that I am now guilty of everything or that I'm an abuser because of a comment. I don't have all the answers and I'm definitely going to say the wrong things sometimes. Things that aren't fully educated. And I think that's pretty normal and that's how we all learn. Again, I am very sorry.
I think making an apology video for this specific comment was definitely the right thing to do. And now we are up to date with everything that happened. Who would have thought at the start of this story that AJ would have turned out to be the villain? Do I think Bambi was an angel in this situation? No, absolutely not at all. They both seemed like they were terrible friends to each other, so that friendship ending was probably the best for both of them. So again, I just wanted to say that under no circumstance should you send hate to either one of these individuals. I am very curious to see if AJ makes a response to this video. So far, she has just uploaded an ad, which I'm pretty sure she was contracted to post. But since then, many people have harassed that company to stop working with her, so I'm pretty sure she won't be getting any more anytime soon. Oh my gosh, there was so much to unpack here, so let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And a little birdie told me that if you like and subscribe, you get 3 years of good luck. So hey, you didn't hear it from me, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!